Hey there, and welcome to this explainer. So today we're going to dive into the absolute split-second magic that happens behind your screen the exact moment you buy something online. It's one of those things we all completely take for granted, right? But honestly, pulling it off requires this massive, globally synchronized infrastructure working in perfect harmony. Now, let's be real for a second. The internet can feel like a kind of risky place for your money. It's totally open, it's vast, and data is constantly flying around. So we've got to ask the big question. What hidden mechanics actually make that instantaneous checkout completely safe? Like, how does simply clicking a buy button magically move money from your bank account to some merchant thousands of miles away without getting intercepted? Well, before any payment method gets big, before it achieves critical mass, it really has to pull off a massive balancing act. It's basically a giant puzzle. A truly successful system has to flawlessly balance incredible ease of use with rock-solid security. But it's way more than just being safe. It needs interoperability, meaning it actually works universally across all your different platforms and devices. Plus, it has to have international support to cross borders, navigate totally complex regulations, and, crucially, keep transaction fees low enough that merchants actually want to use the thing. So, to make sense of this whole complex ecosystem, we're going to follow a quick roadmap today. We'll start with the payment revolution, then meet the hidden financial players, break down the actual anatomy of a transaction, and finally look at what's coming beyond the traditional credit card. All right, part one, the payment revolution. Even though we barely think twice about it today, the good old credit and debit card is absolutely the primary engine driving e-commerce, especially here in the US. Just think about that for a second. We took a system originally designed for swiping physical pieces of plastic in literal brick-and-mortar stores and adapted it to be the foundational pillar of the entire digital economy. But to make that jump from physical to digital totally secure, that requires a massive back-end infrastructure. Which brings us to part two, the hidden financial players. Okay, it all kicks off with the payment card itself, but look closely at the definition here. It's an electronic card that contains information. In the e-commerce world, the physical plastic doesn't matter one bit. The card is literally just a secure data carrier. It holds the essential information needed to trigger a huge financial chain reaction across the web. And here's the complete cast of characters involved in that chain reaction. I want you to think of these players almost like relay runners passing a baton in a split-second race. You've got the consumer and the merchant right there on the front end. That's you and the online store. But working totally invisibly in the background, you're relying on clearinghouses, the merchant's bank, and your own card-issuing bank. All of them have to communicate instantly to verify exactly who you are and, more importantly, whether you actually have the money. Now, bridging the gap between the online store and those big traditional banks is the PSP, or Payment Service Provider. This is an incredibly vital third-party service, because think about it. Without a PSP, every single online merchant would have to build custom, ultra-secure connections to thousands of different banks all over the world. There's just no way. Instead, the PSP steps in as a sort of universal translator, making sure the merchant's checkout software can talk securely to the broader financial world.
Moving on to part three, anatomy of a transaction. Let's see this in action.
Let's track the exact journey of your money. In step one, you make the purchase. Bam. In step two, your payment data travels over a highly secure connection straight to the merchant's server. But wait, the merchant doesn't actually approve it. In step three, their software reaches out to the clearinghouse. Then, step four, this is the real magic moment. The clearinghouse verifies your account and your balance directly with your issuing bank. Once they give the thumbs up, step five credits the merchant's bank. And finally, step six is when you actually see that charge pop up on your monthly statement. That's 6 distinct steps involving 5 different entities, all happening literally in the time it takes the web page to load. Mind-blowing, right? We can basically boil that crazy complex process down into 2 primary split-second technical phases. First up is authorization. This is honestly just a quick check. Is the card active? And does this person actually have enough funds to cover what's in their cart? Absolutely no money moves yet. Then comes the second phase, settlement. This is the actual physical transfer of money from your account over to the merchant's account. And splitting this into 2 phases, that's exactly what allows merchants to put a hold on a charge before actually shipping your item out. So, the million-dollar question, is this massive relay race of sensitive data actually safe? Thankfully, yes, and that is entirely thanks to PCI DSS compliance. Every single player we just talked about, the merchant, the PSP, the clearinghouse, the banks, they literally all must adhere to this insanely strict data security standard.
If an e-commerce enabler isn't PCI DSS compliant, they are strictly forbidden from touching your credit card data. It's pretty much the ultimate safeguard of the entire payment ecosystem.
All right, our final section, part 4, beyond the credit card. As powerful as traditional credit cards are, they definitely have some real limitations. I mean, on the merchant side, they're dealing with high processing costs and constant security risks. And for consumers, there are real social equity limits. Let's face it, not everyone qualifies for a shiny new credit card from a major bank. These structural roadblocks have really sparked a massive shift toward alternative online payment systems. They're designed specifically to bypass these old hurdles, significantly lower costs, and really increase overall accessibility. And these alternatives, they're already here and absolutely dominating the space. You got online stored value systems like PayPal, which essentially run on value already sitting inside a consumer's bank or checking account. Then you have alternative gateways built by the big tech giants. Think Amazon Pay, Meta Pay, or Visa Checkout. The huge benefit here is that they've drastically reduced friction. You don't have to scramble to type in a 16-digit number anymore. You just log in with an account you already know and trust. But honestly, one of the most fascinating evolutions recently is the massive rise of BNPL, Buy Now, Pay Later services. Companies like Klarna and Afterpay are completely reshaping that traditional authorization and settlement process we just broke down. Instead of taking a hit to your credit limit, these services act like microloans right at the point of sale, letting you pay off your items over time in smaller installments. It's just a completely new way to look at purchasing power, built specifically for a new generation of digital shoppers. Which leaves us with a final, kind of provocative thought to chew on. We've just seen exactly how complex the hidden plumbing of online payments truly is. But as that plumbing gets faster, more invisible, and far more alternative, as we move further and further away from swiping physical plastic and closer to instantaneous digital wallets and BNPL, how will this totally friction-free future change our psychological relationship with money itself? When clicking buy requires literally zero effort, does the actual value of a dollar begin to change? Really makes you wonder, right? Well, thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll definitely catch you on the next one.